tips on how to improve your performance in business and in life. My focus this morning as we start out is to get you focused on the most important thing in life so that the tips add on to the most important thing in life. You know, sometimes we start off and we put our ladder and we start climbing a ladder, and close to the top we realize we are on the wrong wall.
Yep.
Yeah?
Yes.
So this morning I'll try to help you figure out if you are on the right wall. The ladder may be correct, but it may be on the wrong wall. In 2009, Andre Agassi, in his autobiography appropriately titled Open, made some stunning revelations. Most stunning of the revelations was the fact that he hated the game of tennis.
Wow.
Think about it. Hated the game of tennis.
He's in the wrong job.
You could say that. It's like Colonel Sanders saying he hated chicken, but still built Kentucky Fried Chicken. Wow. He was talented, no doubt. We cannot argue about that. Earned over $55 million in his career, was ranked number one for many years, won so many titles, yet hated the game that made him a household name. Now this situation is not uncommon. You know, we say wow because it's Andre Agassi. But there are many people, famous, not famous, rich, poor, who are dissatisfied with life. You see, it has nothing to do with being wealthy. It has nothing to do with having everything. What we're talking about is fulfillment. And true fulfillment in life comes from using your talents and natural abilities to do things that you are passionate about. So you might have a talent, but if it is not engaged in something that you are passionate about, true fulfillment will not come. And that was Andre Agassi's problem when he started out. There are a few of us here today, but I've realized that every time I speak, there may be one person, just one person, going through that. Not fulfilled. Asking that life-probing question. Is this all life is about? Is this all life has to offer me? Is this all my life is about? Does my life matter? I have good news for you. Yes, it does. It does. Not everyone has the good fortune to grow up in an environment that nurtures their unique talents, their natural abilities. But each of us has unique abilities that when they work together, help us find the sweet spot of our life. The term sweet spot is a sports term, and it defines or identifies the spot on a bat, racket, golf club, the point at which when a ball is hit, opposing forces cancel out each other, and the result is a clean, crisp hit. How many of you play sports? Tennis? Some of you may be golfers. I know I'm in a room full of women, okay, but women are more avid sports players than men, okay, sometimes. And you know, if you are a sports person, you know when you've hit the ball in the sweet spot. In your life as well. In your life as well. You have a sweet spot where certain forces, certain elements work together in harmony to create a fulfilled life. That is your sweet spot. And those elements are your talents, interests, and your passion. When your talent, interest, and passion work together in harmony, the result is a fulfilled life. It is clean, it is crisp, it is on target, it is focused. I like to call that your tip combination. Your tip combination. Talent, interests, and passion. And the beautiful thing about your talent, interest, and passion is that it is not outside of you. It is on the inside. Benjamin Franklin said, you make a living by what you get. You make a life by what you give. And if we understand that we can only give what we have, you find that you have everything within you. You have everything within you to make a fulfilled life. Because true fulfillment comes out of giving, not out of seeking to get. So let's explore this tip combination and let's figure out where yours lies. Okay? Now understand that this presentation is not we don't have instant answers. Whenever I talk about this, I tell people to take notes. This is a process. It's not an event. You won't go out there and find the answer. It's meant to help you think. And for some, it takes months to really figure out where their sweet spot lies. So let's talk about talents. The first part of the combination. Talents. This is the foundation of your tip combination. Talents are natural abilities that you were born with. You don't acquire a talent. You came out of your mother's womb with it. Like diamonds in the ground were not cultivated. They were put there. You go looking for treasure where it already exists. Same thing with your talents. You don't learn a talent. It's there. You know, it's funny when I talk with people and they tell me, I don't have a talent. I don't know what I'm good at. What they're saying is that they have not discovered their talent. Because trust me, nobody is born without a talent. Nobody. I don't care what you've been told. I don't care what you believe. I don't care what you've heard. Everyone is good at least one thing. I was at a school towards the end of last year speaking to 9th grade kids. And I asked them about their talents. And they all said the same thing. Oh, I don't have any talents. I don't have any talents. I don't have any talents. But as each one said that they don't have a talent, the others said what they believed they were good at. Oh, she dances very well. She loves to sing. She loves to talk. She makes friends easily. But there was this kid, 9th grade. As he was saying he didn't have a talent, the teacher ran to the front of the class and said, no, not this kid. In 9th grade, he excels in advanced calculus. 9th grade. So I asked him, you don't have any talent, but you excel in advanced calculus. His response was, yeah, that's just something I do. It's just something I do. 9th grade calculus, hello? But what's the problem? For a lot of people, there are things we say we just do. But we don't recognize those naturally occurring traits as talents. And the reason is because we did not grow up in an environment that recognized them as talents and sought to nurture those talents within us. Your talent. For a talent to be fully developed, it goes through 3 phases that you'll notice I like to come up with names. So this is the DNA of talent. You develop, you nurture, you apply. Sorry, you discover, you nurture, you apply. The DNA of talent. You discover, you nurture, you apply. You discover your talent because it's already there waiting for you to recognize that this is a gift that you were born with. It is a gift given to direct your life. So many times we ask, what is my purpose? The first place you start is identifying your gifts. Because your purpose will use your gifts and talents. You discover your talents. And I like to say this because the question is, well, how do I discover my talents? How do I know what I'm good at? It is easiest when you're dealing with kids under 10. So for those that are parents or grandparents with kids under 10, let me talk to you first. Okay, let me ask this. Anyone in here with kids under 10? Grandchildren. Okay.
Grandchildren.
Under 10.
Yeah.
All right. So
We're all in the grandchildren phase.
Yep.
I'm a child.
okay, so you may have missed it with the kids, all right? Let's give the grandchildren a chance here. Notice what they do well. It is easiest to notice the talents of children under 10 because they have not started feeling the full effects of peer pressure. And they naturally exhibit who they are. There's nothing holding them back. How many of you see girls that stand in front of the mirror and sing with their mother's brush? Or they're kids that just know how to put colors together. Kids, I mean, they're 3 for crying out loud. And they dress up better than some 35-year-olds. And they're kids that like to organize and arrange things. Everything has to be in order. Mom has to cook at a certain time. They don't like their, things don't touch on their plate. Everything has to be organized. Those are traits. Pay attention to what those kids are showing you. I did not have the privilege or the opportunity to grow up in an environment that recognized my talents. My environment wanted me to be a doctor, and they were molding me to be a doctor. I thank God that no patient came under my care. Oh man, I am so happy. I feel for my doctors when I go see them, so I put myself in their shoes. Oh man, I would have beat my patients up. Get out. Don't come waste my time. But second thing with kids, under 10, there is no pressure to develop a skill. There's really no pressure. Oh yeah, you want to play football? Yes. You want to play soccer? Yes. But most parents, and I say most because there are some crazy ones, and I'll tell you about some later. There are some crazy parents that put so much pressure on their kids between the ages of 3 and 10. Now sometimes, like in the case of Andre Agassi, his father put pressure on him from the age of about 5. But that was because he recognized his talent from the get-go. But as adults, how do we discover our talents? Go back to your childhood. It's not that far, trust me. Trust me, it's not.
Or the first song.
And some of you are giving me that look. Oh, wow. Trust me, it's not that far, okay? It is still alive within you. Go back to your childhood and think through the things you did well. What did people say you did well? What did your siblings say you did well? If your parents are still alive, have that conversation with them. What did you show naturally as a child? And then as an adult, what do people say you do well? What do people always ask you to do? Try using a talent assessment tool. There are so many of them out there online that help you. They ask you a lot of questions and try to define certain talents that may occur within you.
Your website?
Not on my website.
I said, do you have, is there a website for that? Do you know of?
Strengths Finder.
Stress.
Strengths Finder. But that's a paid one. Strengths Finder.
If you buy the book, it's free.
If you buy the book, it's free. I think the book is like $34 something. If you buy a fairly used book, you don't get the code. Because the owner may have used it. I have to, trust me, I've tried. Okay? But with all the questions you ask, as you start writing those traits down, ask yourself with each one, do you enjoy doing the things that you've written down? Because with adults, here is where we have what I call the skill creep. We develop skills in order to function in certain jobs we get. And sometimes we are so good at those skills that we start to think that those skills are our talents. A life built on a skill will never be fulfilling because that skill is not naturally occurring within you. A life built on talent, however, is fulfilling because you are expressing what comes naturally. Your skill is meant to help your talent. Skill without talent is frustrating. Take for example, I am not naturally a strategic thinker. I'm not. I'm a big picture thinker. I'm a futuristic thinker. And that sometimes frustrates my wife. Because I paint the picture of this glorious future and all she's waiting to say, babe, what's the plan? I'm like, forget the plan, okay? Just focus on the future. But she is a process, detail-oriented person. None is better than the other. But you have to work together. So I have learned to be a strategic thinker. Is it a strong skill? No. But I am good enough to do what I need to do. And when I need very strong strategic thinking, I partner with others who are naturally strategic in their thinking. You have to ask yourselves those critical questions. Is this a skill or is this a talent? Know the difference and focus on your talents. Focus on your talents. So you discover your talents. 2, you nurture your talents. And nurturing a talent simply means practice, practice, practice. Just like the gold that is taken out of the ground, though of immense value, cannot be sold for its full value because it is still raw. Your raw talent, here's the beautiful thing about talent. Your raw talent puts you above average with minimal effort. But fulfillment in life does not come from being above average. How many of us want to live an above average life? Above average?
Way
wow,
above.
okay.
That's what we want.
Just above average?
No, way above.
Way above. Exceptional. And you can be exceptional. You know, I don't believe in this. Oh, you can be everything you want to be, or you can be anything you want to be. No. I can't sing. I'll never win American Idol. Okay? Not even if my life depended on it, I'd just say, pull the trigger. Just pull the trigger. So you cannot be anything you want to be. You can be the best at what you were created to be. You have the talent and gifts to be what you were created to be. And that is where your fulfillment lies. So you nurture your talents. When you figure out what the talent is, find an avenue to develop it. Find an avenue to practice. In his book Outliers, Malcolm Gladwell talked about the 10,000 hour rule. And he says it takes about 10,000 hours of practice to be exceptional in your area of talent. 10,000 hours, he broke it down to 20 hours a week for 10 years. That's just to give you an example. It's a guideline. I don't think you have to, so don't go saying, well, 20 hours every week, I must do this. But the gist is that you practice, practice, practice. Andre Agassi, from the age of 5 or 6, his father made him hit 2,500 balls every day. Every single day. His calculation was, if a 6-year-old kid would hit 1 million balls a year, no one would match him. And he set him up with a tennis machine. How many of you play tennis here?
We know what it is.
You know, okay.
Yes, I used to.
You know what a tennis? So you know what a tennis machine is.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me give you his practice regimen. A tennis machine for adult tennis players shoots out balls at about 65 to 85 miles an hour. 85 for the more seasoned players, adults. And the machine is set at the back of the court, the opposite side, on the floor. So what does Andre Agassi's father do? He takes it from the back, brings it to the court, to the net, puts it on a platform so that it is above the net. And he rigs the machine so that it is shooting balls out at 120, 125 miles an hour. And this kid is only 6.
Oh my gosh.
But still, he manages to return every ball that comes his way. Even Agassi had to admit, I know that it is not normal for me to see the ball and hit the ball. And he did this every day. 2,500 balls a day. That's how he got to be number 1. But that was one of the things that made him hate the game. Because there was so much pressure put on him that he hated the talent that he was born with. You nurture your talents, and then you apply your talents. Now, sometimes the application of the talent and the nurturing may happen simultaneously, and sometimes it happens sequentially. You nurture first and then you apply. But applying your talents means you put it to use for the benefit of others. Someone who volunteered to be a substitute teacher now believes they have enough confidence to get a job as a full-time teacher. Someone who's a communicator or who's developing their communication skills, who's been at Toastmasters for years, develops the confidence to ask for a few thousand, 3,000, 5,000 speaking fees. That's the way it works. You develop the confidence to go apply your talent. You discover, you nurture, and you apply the DNA of talent. We don't stop at talent because we're looking for your sweet spot, and your sweet spot lies at, what did I say, at the intersection of your talent, interest, and passion. Interests. What are interests? This is the tricky one, though the simplest. Interests are simply the things we enjoy. There are so many things we enjoy. So many things we like doing. So many things we like talking about. Things that give us pleasure. Things that help us relax. Those are interests. But for the sake of your tip combination, we are looking for interests that will work with your talent. Not every interest will work with your talent. Not every interest will work with your talent. Take, for example, someone who has a talent in teaching, or who has a talent in negotiation, and who has an interest in football. That talent can work with the interest. Yeah. They can become they can become representatives of players, negotiating their contracts, or they can become recruiters for football teams. President Ronald Reagan in, I believe it was 1934, after graduating from high school or college, could not go into professional football, but he loved the game of football. He played high school football, played college football. But his strongest talents were his communication skill and his voice. So what did he do? Got a job as a radio sports commentator and did that for 4 years. And the combination of the talent and the interest put him on the road and put him on the path to his movie career in Hollywood. That was how he got to Hollywood. He was in California doing sports commentary for his football team from Ohio. I believe it was Ohio or Iowa. And somebody noticed his voice and said, this kid might just make a good actor. Let's check him out. That was how it started. Talents, interests. Check your interest in blocks of 10 years. What were your interests between 1 and 10? What were your interests between 11 and 20? What were your interests between 21 and 30? And go as get to wherever you are on the age spectrum, okay? Figure out what interests have been consistent and ask yourself what interests can work with your talent. Talents, interests, passion. Now this is the difference maker. This is the difference maker. The analogy I like to use for the tip when I talk about passion is imagine that your talent is a car. And I'm a sedan kind of guy, okay? You'll never find me in a two-door. I'll never buy a coupe, no. You know, I'm a sedan person. I like having company, okay? Yeah. So imagine your talent is a car. And your interests are 2 or 3 good friends you can take a long journey with. Because life is a journey. Yes? Now, passion. Passion is the driver. Passion is the driver. Passion is what takes your talents and your interests and gives it purpose. Your passion charts a course for your talents and your interests. Your passion is an emotion, an extreme strong emotion that drives you to take action. Note, it's not just joy or anger. It doesn't end there. It drives you to take an action. We are all passionate about something. We just have to be engaged in life enough to come in contact with our passion. No couch potato! I say that and I say it with all my heart. No couch potato will ever find their passion. You have to be engaged in life to connect with something that tugs at your heart. You have to be actively engaged in life to connect with something that tugs at your heart. Once you put your talents to use, you will find yourself going through different phases in life, and one day you will connect with something that gives your talent true meaning. True meaning. Not just the passion of the Martin Luther Kings and the Gandhis and the Mother Teresa's, not just that type of passion. It might be the passion that builds a business like Starbucks. You know, most people think that Starbucks is about coffee. Yes, the product is coffee. Howard Schultz, the owner, has an interest in coffee. But the passion behind the company is the desire to do good by his employees. When he was 6, something happened when he was growing up. He grew up poor. In winter, his father, who was a truck delivery man, slipped and broke his leg. And because of that, he lost his job. And along with his job went their medical benefits. And that put immense strain on their family. For some reason, that had a serious impact on this young Howard Schultz. And he vowed someday to build a company that will do well and do right by its employees. That is why today, Starbucks is the only company that has medical benefits. Not just for full-time employees, but for part-time employees. The only company. Passion. It's the difference maker. And I tell people, look inside. What tugs at your heart? What tugs at your heart? Write down your talents. Write down your interests. Write down your passion. Write down the things that tug at your heart, make you extremely happy or make you extremely angry. And figure out if you can find an intersection of the three. I know you can, because I've seen it happen in many lives. We each have something special to give. We each were born to fulfill something in life. We were born to live an expected life, not an accepted life. But it's our decision to rise to the challenge. It takes work. It takes work. But the beautiful thing about the work is that over 50% of it has been done. Everything you need to succeed is within you. It's not on the outside. Fulfillment is an inside job. It's not a makeover. You don't need to be cut up, or nothing needs to be added or taken out. It's on the inside. As you spend the rest of today, I hope the few nuggets I've given you will help you start a process to discover your sweet spot, because trust me, it is out there. And when you find it, you not only will be fulfilled, but this life will know that you lived. This life will know that you lived. Thank you.
Thank you, Kanae.
Q&A
Does
question?
anyone have any questions? Any clarification? Or you just need time to absorb it? It's so, yeah. I love the DNA and the tip. I think it's something that we can...
I came off the ladder and looking for the wall.
Yeah, we need to find the right wall. I love his opening. Okay, Kanae, are you going to be able to spend a little more time, or do you must get back to your other duties? So let's say goodbye to Kanae this time. And we'll take just a couple of minutes break so you can get your water or do whatever you need, and then we'll bring our next talented speaker forward. Let's hear it for Kanae. Thank you so much.
Always a pleasure being with you guys.
All right. I don't know where the restrooms are. Are they down on the right?